I'm doing a breakfast tasting test, even though it's currently late afternoon and I've been out running around doing all kinds of things. I've just got home and I've lined it up because, you know, it's never too late in the day for breakfast. So I am a huge fan of granola and yogurt, and I wanted to put this to the test. So I've got two types of yogurt. This one is Greek yogurt, and this one is just plain yogurt, and it's by a company called Isho, and they are based here in Gasabo in Kigali, Rwanda. So it's locally made yogurt. So I'm going to test which one of these I prefer. And also we've got Vital Organics. They do a range of granola. So they've got a chocolate one and a peanut butter one. Okay, so first off, let's open the yogurts. We're going to start with the plain yogurt. Okay, it's looking good. What kind of consistency? So it's quite a thin, sort of almost drinking yogurt consistency. So let's put a bit in here. Okay, let's see if the Greek yogurt's any thicker, because Greek yogurt is supposed to be really thick. So it's definitely a bit thicker than the plain yogurt, but I'm not sure I'd class it as thick as proper Greek yogurt. But let's pop some in here. Yeah, it's definitely got a bit more sort of, I don't know what to call it, sort of structure to it. This has kind of filled up the whole bowl. It's sort of very runny, so it's filled the bowl. Whereas this has kind of retained its globule shape. I'm not making that sound very attractive. First up, let's just taste them as they are and see. So this is the runny plain yogurt, Isho yogurt. Smells nice and sour. It smells like a kivaguto, which is the local Rwandan plain yogurt that you get. Yeah, it's nice. And it's not overpoweringly sour. Yeah, I think you could eat that without sort of, without your mouth getting all full of saliva. It's pretty good. All right, let's give this thicker Greek yogurt a go. I'd say this doesn't smell as strong as the plain even. Yeah, it's got a very good creamy texture. It's got a good consistency. Tastes pretty much exactly the same as the plain yogurt. I'd say if you're going to go for Greek yogurt, the best place I've found that does that is Kasakeza restaurant in Kachiru. They make fresh Greek yogurt and it is really thick. It's really good Greek yogurt. Okay, I'm really intrigued by this peanut butter one because I love peanuts, so let's try it. I'm just going to put a tiny bit on the plate so that we can have a little look at it. And next to it, we're going to put the chocolate granola. Okay, so they both look very similar. When I first opened the bag, I thought that there was sort of slightly more larger pieces in the chocolate one, but there were just a few on the top, and so underneath it was more like the peanut one, which I have to say it looks very, very finely ground for granola. Okay, so this is the peanut butter one. Oh, that's interesting. It's chewy rather than crispy. I was expecting a crunch, but chewy. And the chocolate one, also chewy. Okay, I was expecting kind of a real crunch, like granola crunch, which, you know, that's what people like at breakfast. Tastes a bit chewy. Let's try it with the yogurt and see how it goes. Okay, so this is the plain yogurt and this is the Greek yogurt, and the top on both of them is peanut butter and the bottom is chocolate. So let's try all four of them and see which one's the best combination. Right, I'm just going to dive straight in. This is the plain yogurt with peanut. A bit disappointing on the crunch there. There isn't a crunch. It's definitely very much just chewy. I'm just really tasting the yogurt, not really tasting peanut. So the chocolate one and the plain yogurt. Again, very chewy, definitely no granola crunch going on there. Again, the yogurt comes through very strongly, but afterwards there's a slight cocoa taste. Now I'm going to try the Greek yogurt with the same toppings. Peanut. I would say the creaminess of the Greek yogurt gives a bit more body, a bit more sort of, I don't know what to call it, yeah, a bit more body to the experience. With the chocolate, okay. I think my favourite combination of this will be the Greek yogurt with the chocolate granola. But having said that, you know, from granola, you want the crunch. That's the point with the granola. It needs to crunch, and neither of those do. The peanut butter one sounds good in theory, but there just isn't any peanut butter flavour when you combine it with the sourness, the tartness of the yogurt. Really, the yogurt is the overwhelming flavour here. I'm not tasting much peanut. I am tasting a little bit of a chocolatey aftertaste with the chocolate one. But still not the best crunch. Okay guys, I'm having a crazy idea. I'm going to put some granola in the oven and I'm going to like roast it for a few minutes and see whether or not it turns into crispy granola. Okay, it's looking nice and toasted. It smells nice and toasted, but does it taste nice and toasted? Ooh, hot, hot, hot. It's got a really vanilla-y smell now that it's been toasted. Let's try. No, still chewy. How? How is that still chewy? I think maybe the flavour is a little bit nicer that it's warm. It's definitely got more of a vanilla smell, but it's still really chewy. Okay, I think it's because I had a very big lumpy bit. These little ones, you can hear they're dry and toasty. That's getting a bit more like granola. Definitely improves it a bit, but I don't think you should have to sort of roast your own granola after you've bought it. I think it probably should come crunchy. So I was in Ribeiro the other day and I went to Sawa Citi, which is a supermarket there, and I found granola. And it's produced by Bbrood, which are a well-known brand for making good quality bread. It was kind of expensive. It was 10,000 francs, which by Kigali standards is a lot of money to spend on granola. It's almost double what we paid for the other one. But I thought, well, let's try it. Let's see whether or not it's worth the money. I was a bit worried because it has been well over a week now since I bought it, and I'm a bit worried that it might have lost its crunch. But at the same point, when I have a look at the packet, I noticed that there is absolutely no use by date on it. So, according to the packet, this should be good forever. I don't know, it has no expiry date on it at all, so it should be good and fresh. Let's give it a go. Okay, so instantly when I open the packet, it's got a really nice smell. It smells immediately kind of buttery and oaty, like a flapjack or those Oaties biscuits, hobnob biscuits. Buttery and oaty with a slight darker undertone, perhaps of molasses or something. Brown sugar, it smells good. So, I have high hopes for this. Let's give it a go. That's got a proper crunch. I also just found a couple of raisins in there. So, it's got both the crunch and the chew. So crunchy and chewy, and even after a week in the packet, still very, very fresh. That is good granola. I am very happy with that. I think 10,000, that's a little bit expensive, you know, but at the same point, you're definitely getting the quality. So yeah, If I'm feeling flush, I would buy this again. Hi lovelies, something very special today is I popped down to Casa Chiesa, which is a restaurant in Kachiru, and I picked up a jar of their famous Greek yogurt. This is the best Greek yogurt in town. You buy it in a jar like this. I think it's about 5,000. I shall have to double check that. But it is thick and creamy and delicious, and I'm going to pair it with the expensive granola and see whether or not we've got the winning formula. Seriously, the thickest, creamiest Greek yogurt you will find in the city. Honestly, this yogurt is so thick, it looks like whipped cream. It's pretty incredible stuff. Right, let's give it a go. I forgot that the Greek yogurt is quite sour, so I'm just going to add a little bit of honey on top and mix that in, because Greek yogurt and honey, that's just a match made in heaven. Yeah, you always need honey with Greek yogurt. It's so good. We have wonderful honey in Rwanda, absolutely wonderful honey. That is the granola and that is the yogurt for me. I definitely think that is a lovely, lovely breakfast. Hi guys, I broke. I wasn't going to buy this, but then I thought, heck, you know, if we're going to do this video properly, we're going to do it properly. I went out and I bought the most expensive granola that I can find in the city. And this is granola from India. It's actually made in Gujarat in India, but this is what you would expect to find on a shelf in Europe. If I went down to my local supermarket in the UK, I'd say I'd get something very similar to this, with one major difference, and it's a big one. Right, the reason I almost didn't buy this is because it is 14,000 francs. So in the UK, that's probably about, I don't know, £7 at the moment for 450 grams, so not even half a kilogram. And the reason that's stunning to me is because in the UK, you could get a box or a kilogram of granola, really nice granola like honey and almond, a kilogram of it for £2. Okay, £2, and I'm getting half a kilogram here for £7, 14,000 francs. That is how crazy prices are here at the moment. And people go, oh, well, it's imported. You know, yeah, fine, it's imported. You've got to bring it by sea, and then you've got to bring it over land from like the ports of Mombasa or Dar. So it's really hard to get things into the country. But I also suspect a lot of added tax goes into things as well. 14,000 francs for 450 grams of granola. But I decided to buy it because, I mean, for that amount of money, I'd expect it to come with gold flakes in it, you know? Let's try it. Let's have a go. Okay, so we can see bits of puffed rice. We can see, that looks like, I'm going to say that's a pumpkin seed. Dried fruit. It's supposed to be apple flavour, so maybe that's apple. Let's give it a go. Okay, so I'm having it with the Ishio Greek yogurt because I ran out of the really good stuff from Casa Chiesa. I ate it all. I've mixed it with some honey. Let's give it a go. All right, so it's supposed to be apple, but when I smell it, the overriding smell is vanilla. I'm not really getting much apple, but let's give it a go. I've got a bit of a messy spoon. You hear that crunch? I'm loving that crunch. That is a sound that the other granolas, the ones made in Rwanda, didn't really have. But, okay, hold on. It's not quite what I'd expect granola to be. Granola I expect to be more like the one that we got from Bbrood. Because that one was made up mostly of oats, and when I think about granola I think about toasted oats, like clusters of toasted oats, whereas this appears to be mostly puffed rice, which is an interesting spin on granola. I'm not sure what the actual definition of granola is. I'm going to have to look that up. But yeah, so it's not quite what I'd expect granola to be, but I forgive it for that crunch. However, there's a very slight sweet apple-y taste. I'm getting a little bit of apple. But apple isn't the overriding flavour. There's something, again, I'd say a little bit vanilla about it. And kind of almost slightly, am I imagining this? Hold on. Okay, this is going to sound a bit weird, but to my taste buds, something almost saline, like kind of ever so slightly saltwatery. I know that sounds weird. I do feel like it tastes a little bit salty and very vanilla. And then every now and again you catch a little note of apple in the background. I have to say I quite like the Bbrood. That had a buttery flavour to it, and I think I prefer the buttery flavour to this kind of vanilla-y salty flavour. I would definitely say if you want a breakfast morning crunch, then yes, this one's the one. But that's largely because it's puffed rice. But I guess whatever gets you there. Whereas the Bbrood one, I preferred the oats, I think. I'm definitely more of an oat granola person. I guess if you've got 14,000 to spend, maybe it's worth it. So it's been so long putting together this video that I've actually come up with another contender whilst I've been putting this together, and that is Steffi Metz. So Steffi Metz is an artisanal food producer. If you came with me to the food festival or to Rob's birthday, you will have seen what she produces. I shall leave both of those links below. And I just sort of remembered that she also does chocolate granola. So, well, chocolate granola and Greek yogurt. So I've got a bit of both. Now in the past, when I've bought her chocolate granola, it's come in sort of packages like this. This is fish powder. That's not granola, but it usually comes in packages like that. But today it was delivered in 2 of these, so I think maybe they're having a packaging shortage. But her chocolate granola is on the more expensive end. It's 11,500, and yeah, it looks pretty good. It's a bit like the first one we tried. It doesn't really have sort of large granules. It comes in smaller pieces, but it smells absolutely delightful. It smells, I'd say it smells more of cinnamon than chocolate. This is where she tells me there is no cinnamon in it. But to me it smells slightly cinnamony, more than chocolatey, but I've had it in the past and it is really good. But I've never tried her Greek yogurt before, so we're going to put that to the test. And I'm also going to be having this one with the Beulah Land farm honey that we got, because I didn't have this before and it is fantastic, and it's probably the best honey I've had in Rwanda. Again, if you want to know more about this, go and check out the food festival video. Here is the Greek yogurt. Got a very, very nice thick consistency. Very, very reminiscent of the cassicese yogurt. Drizzle a little bit of the Beulah Land farm honey on it. Oh, perfect combination. Lick the spoon and sprinkle on the granola. so this is Steffi Metz Greek yogurt. It's very good. Ooh, very tart. But yeah, like cassicasa, I would say that is Greek yogurt. That's the consistency of Greek yogurt in a way that the Isha one just isn't quite there. All right, and now for the granola. I like that. This is very reminiscent of the Vital Organics one in that it's very, very crumbly, very small grains rather than clusters of granola. But what Steffi's managed to do is to make that crispy. It's got a really nice sort of crispy, crunchy bite. It's also got a very nice sweet and toasted flavour to it. So I like this. I think that combination of the yogurt, the granola, the honey, it's good. I like it. It's not overly chocolatey. It says choco granola. I wouldn't say it really blasts you with the chocolate. It is more kind of sweet and toasty, and it's got a crunch. I like that. Okay guys, time for the rankings. 4th place in the yogurt stakes, I'm placing the Isho plain yogurt. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing amazing about it either. 3rd place goes to Isho Greek yogurt, which is a little bit thicker, though I think calling it Greek yogurt is stretching it a little bit. In at number 2 is Steffi's Greek yogurt, which is delicious and only narrowly beaten by cassicasa, which is just a little bit thicker. On to the granola stakes. I'm dropping Vital in at 4th place. Although they do have some wonderful products in their shop, go check them out, they just haven't perfected their granola yet. It's chewy rather than crunchy, and the delicate flavours are easily overpowered by the yoghurt. But definite kudos for offering a range of flavours. In 3rd place, I'm putting the Indian Fit and Flex. I thought the crunch was outstanding, but it reminds me more of rice puffs than granola. The price point on this one also puts it firmly in the luxury goods category. As an aside, I'm not a huge fan of fortified cereals, which is when manufacturers load it with extra dietary supplements like fibre and vitamins. There's a lot of that going on with this one, and it's easy to get too much of a good thing if you're already taking supplements or eating a balanced diet. Just a personal preference, but I tend to avoid them. In at number 2 is Steffi again. I really like the crunch on her granola, and the smell is delightful. It's at the upper end of the price spectrum, but I never feel disappointed with it. And 1st place goes to Bbrood. At $10,000, the price makes it a treat for me rather than an everyday item. But I do think they bring the quality. It's the closest thing I found that matches what I think of when I think about granola. It's got those oats, it's got that lovely buttery flapjack flavour, and I do appreciate the raisins for extra chew, though I know that isn't for everybody. It is a really close call between 1st and 2nd place, and I would suggest trying both of them and letting me know which one you like best below. Until next time. Okay, these are actually pretty good without the yoghurt.